Well, people talk about the weather all the time, but lately it seems to be constantly headlining the news. Has our climate gone crazy?
Good evening. Sydney is bracing for unprecedented heatwave conditions tomorrow, with predictions the city will swelter through its hottest November day on record.
In some states, firefighters are again facing hellish flames, while in others, locals welcome rain, but not enough to damage their homes with floodwaters or lightning strikes. Overseas, the weather turned deadly, with a policeman killed during floods in England.
The bridge gave way just sheer the volume of water, and PC Barker went into the water and was swept away.
It was the heaviest rainfall ever recorded in Britain.
Wow, so we better get used to this wild weather for the moment. But what about climate change in the future? And what do we do if the sea surrounding Australia starts to rise rapidly? Do we just watch our famous beaches disappear?
Professor Andrew Short of the University of Sydney is an expert on Australia's coast. Good morning to you. Now, rising sea levels, are they going to move up quickly at all? And is it because of climate change?
Yes, Koshy, sea level is already rising at about 1 centimetre a year. It's likely to accelerate into the future, and we need to do something about it.
So 1 centimetre a year they're going up by. So where does this leave us in 10 years, 20 years? I understand that you're saying there's a number of things that we're going to lose, that we need to start building up higher. For example, Sydney Airport.
Well, there's a number of things we can do. First of all, for most of the coast, we'll do nothing at all. That's about 80% of the Australian coast. Also, we can retreat, but retreating is difficult because where do you retreat to if you've got houses behind you? In some parts of the city, councils have already started buying back houses in affected areas so the sea can retreat naturally. That's sort of, I guess, the do-nothing option. Let nature take its course. Or we can take action to preserve our coastline and defend our important resources. Places like Sydney Airport, the Opera House, all our ports and facilities, they of course will be defended, they'll be elevated and maintained into the future. We can also build seawalls in certain areas, not all that attractive on our popular beaches, but it is an option. Finally, for our beaches, particularly our popular beaches, the Sydney Coast, Illawarra, Central Coast, we can use the sand offshore to have massive sand nourishment of our beaches, which will give them a lifetime of at least another 100 to 200 years, both maintain our public beach amenity as well as protecting those houses behind the beaches.
OK. Andrew, what do you say to the sceptics that say, hey, it's not all about climate change, it's just a natural cycle of nature that we're going to go through? We're exaggerating. Reports like this are scaremongering. 1 centimetre, a year or two, who cares? That's not really much.
Well, I say, whether you believe in climate change or not, the gases are already up there and accelerating. Global temperature is increasing, both in the atmosphere and the ocean. Whole ecosystems are moving polewards as waters warm up, and of course sea level is rising. So whether you believe in climate change or not, these things are happening, they are facts, and we need to deal with them.
Is anybody listening to you when you say this? I mean, particularly when you talk about things like having to build up an airport like Sydney's, and you talk about having to build up ports and move some of them. Are authorities listening?
The scientific community is certainly listening, and I believe the political community is as well. We've had two very important reports out at the federal level, the House of Reps report on impact of climate change on the coast, the more recent Department of Climate Change report on areas of coastal vulnerability to sea level rise, and even at the state level, New South Wales, as other states have released their sea level criteria, and most recently in New South Wales, the draft guidelines on planning in the coastal zone. So at the political level, we are having a response. At the moment, these are reports and guidelines. What we now need is to enact some of the 48 recommendations in the House of Reps report. If they were all enacted, we would have the best climate change response in the world. So the political machinery has started. It needs support from the broader community and, of course, resources from the federal and state level to actually do something about it.
Yeah. Andrew Short, it's a fascinating study you've done. Of course, you're from the University of Sydney. Really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Koshy.
Now, Andrew's report is called The Coast of Australia. It's about how our coastline came to be and the future for it.